In this video, you'll learn how to connect to an SSL secured Kafka cluster in KafkIO. Once KafkIO loads, you'll see a screen like this. We already have a cluster configured from earlier, so to add a new one, click Add Cluster. This opens the cluster properties screen, where you can configure everything needed to connect to your Kafka cluster. In this example, we're connecting to an SSL secured cluster, so the setup requires a few additional steps. First, let's give the cluster a name. I'll call this Staging SSL. I'll also assign it a teal colour to represent our staging environment. For the bootstrap servers, I know there's an SSL broker running on host Kafka 0 port 19092. Let's test the connection and see what happens. As you can see, we get a timeout error. Timeouts can occur for several reasons, and this message suggests using the network tool to investigate further. Let's take a closer look. I'll click Check. The tool shows that the host name resolves correctly, the host is reachable or pingable, and the port is open. So from a pure network perspective, everything looks fine. This leads us to one of the most common and confusing issues when connecting to Kafka. If a port is accessible, but you're still getting a timeout, it's almost always caused by missing or incorrect security configuration. The cluster simply doesn't respond. So let's switch to the Kafka Security tab and change the security type to SSL. Here we need to configure a trust store. I'll select my trust store file here. If your trust store isn't in JKS format, that's fine. KafkIO also supports formats like P12 and PEM. Let's test the connection again. This time we get a more specific error, an SSL handshake failure due to a bad certificate. You may not see this, your test may be successful at this point, but this cluster is configured for mutual TLS, or MTLS. In other words, the cluster expects the client, in this case KafkIO, to present its own certificate for authentication. It's a two-way street. To fix this, we'll enable two-way SSL. So let's now choose our key store file. I'll enter the password and test the connection once more. And there we go, the connection is successful. Let's save the configuration. Now we can connect to the cluster, navigate to topics, and start streaming data. As you can see, messages are flowing in successfully. And that's how you connect to an SSL secured Kafka cluster using mutual TLS in KafkIO. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.